Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about Audit Data Standard. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss the need for ADS, what is ADS, and what benefits it could bring to us. For the need for ADS, with the development of modern IT, companies' business operations have become almost entirely digitized. Business data is usually recorded and stored in the company's accounting and ERP systems. However, audit standards tend to lag behind advances in technology, and many basic audit procedures have not been updated to complement these developments. Auditors face a challenge in accessing data as there is no standard requirement in place for data availability. Auditors do not have ready access to their clients' accounting data. This picture describes the auditor's procedure for obtaining audit-related data. As a company might apply more than one system, there is wide variability in the file and file names and data types in underlying accounting and ERP systems. For most public companies, like multinational firms, their IT department is usually responsible for the management of their ERP system, legacy system, and the database. When the auditor needs to access financial-related data of the client, he or she sends audit-related data request to the IT department. The IT department will query the database based on the request of the auditor and the generated dataset, and deliver the data to the auditor. The entire process here usually takes more than 1 week. Because first, the auditor must make sure that the IT department fully understands the request. For example, they must make sure that the IT personnel understand what data they need, and make sure that the personnel provide right type and format of data. Because auditors and IT personnel approach requests for information from different perspectives and have different understanding of data. Once auditors obtain the dataset, they have to understand it, because the data they obtained has different field names, types, and format from that in financial statements. So this entire process usually takes several weeks. But you may ask, why cannot the auditor obtain the data directly from the database of his or her client? As I mentioned before, the client might apply multiple database systems. Some of them could be legacy systems, and some of them can be ERP systems. So it is extremely hard for auditors with no IT background to understand the system. So they need the involvement of IT specialists. As a result, accounting and IT personnel approach requests for information from different perspectives, and the clients apply different ERP systems. They are all challenges faced by auditors. Even within a same company, variable name for the same item can be diverse, and the variable format is varying. For example, the item payment date can be shown differently in different ERP systems or legacy systems. For example, it can be shown as posting date, clearing date, or pay date, even though the same date here can be shown in different format like this. To summarize, without a standard structure, data cannot be used consistently across financial audits of most organizations. Auditors have to spend a long time to access and normalize inconsistent data sets and different sources of data. This situation increases the risk that incorrect or incomplete data will be provided by IT, and it also increased the need for IT specialist involvement. So, Audit Data Standards are a set of voluntary uniform audit data standards that identifies the key information needed for auditors and provides a common framework covering data file definitions and technical specifications. It also contains data field definitions and technical specifications, and supplemental questions and data validation routines to help auditors better understand the data and assess its completeness and integrity. The standards are offered in either of the following two file formats: flat file format and XBRL GL format. The Audit Data Standard Working Group, created by Emerging Assurance Technologies Task Force of ASEC of the AICPA, issues the ADS. And the objective of ADS is to improve the effectiveness, timeliness, and efficiency of the audit process and facilitate automation and enhancements in the analysis of business information. In August 2013, AICPA issued the first 3 audit data standards. You can visit AICPA's Financial Reporting Center to get those data sets, to get those audit data standards. The first issuance of ADS includes 3 data standards: Base Standard, General Ledger Standard, and Accounts Receivable Subledger Standard. The title of each standard contains hyperlink to the copy of each standard. The base standard includes basic data fields and common files that should be used in conjunction with the General Ledger and Account Receivable Subledger standards. General Ledger Standard includes information specific to General Ledger accounts. Accounts Receivable Subledger Standard includes information specific to accounts receivable. Recently, in 2014, AICPA issued a true exposure draft: Audit Data Standard, Order to Cash Subledger Standard, and Procure to Pay Subledger Standard. The first one addresses the order to cash process, which expands upon and replaces the earlier accounts receivable subledger standard. The second publication addresses the Procure to Pay Audit Data Standard, and is intended to accommodate basic analysis of the Procure to Pay process, such as analysis of the levels of activity during a specified period, exceptionally old payables, and so on. The standard is intended to facilitate analysis performed as part of an audit, as well as analysis that might be performed by company staff and internal audit in order to improve internal processes. So you can also use the hyperlink here to get the copy of each subledger standard. Please be note that the standards are not required by any regulatory entity, and the AICPA has not established them as requirements for the profession. So, companies would want to have access to their own data in a consistent format. So, the benefits of ADS is like the follows. First of all, it could reduce the time and effort involved in accessing data by providing a precise request to IT or other data owners of what data is required and the format in which it should be provided. It reduces the risk that incorrect or incomplete data will be provided by IT and reduce the need for IT specialist involvement. It enables the use of standard audit and risk analytics to be run against the data sets in a specific area. It also opens up the opportunity for software vendors such as ACL to produce ADS extractors for given ERPs. There are a number of stakeholders, from internal auditor and external auditor to software vendors. For internal and external auditors, Audit Data Standards provide them with standardized data on a timely basis and in a readily usable format. A standard set of company data will be available to them on demand, eliminating the need to normalize inconsistent data sets and different sources of data. This is a great way for auditors to now focus their time and expertise on interpreting audit output and making judgments based on standardized data, instead of spending time accessing and normalizing inconsistent data. Audit data standardization will also allow auditors to drill down and better identify higher risk areas or suspect transactions that will enhance the traditional audit process and enable it to become more dynamic and comprehensive. All CPAs plus managers and non-CPAs in business and industry could also benefit from the use of ADS. ADS will provide companies with data consistency and the opportunity for more extensive data analysis. By providing real-time access to key general ledger and sub-ledger data in a standardized format, Audit Data Standards will enable enhanced analytics to be performed on company information, leading to insights such as potential growth opportunities and areas for improvement. This will not only enhance the value of the audit, but will also facilitate enhanced decision-making by company management. Similar to the ways in which Audit Data Standards aid auditors, they will enable companies to drill down and better identify higher risk areas or suspect transactions, and will assist with standardizing analysis across multiple business units that might have been acquired with different reporting systems still in place. Therefore, by utilizing one common framework, this will allow for similar analysis that can be shared across the locations. So, companies and the individual business unit will be able to better evaluate key metrics in order to substantively predict company performance, analyze growth opportunities, and screen for questionable transactions. With Audit Data Standard in use, audit committee members will receive more timely and valuable information that will assist in their oversight of the quality and the integrity of the company's financial process. Auditors will consistently deliver a more timely and detailed analysis of business performance to audit committee members that will support effective oversight. Producers of analytic software will also find Audit Data Standards helpful, because they can now begin to develop ready-made extraction programs to provide common data views of production data for companies to implement in their systems. Instead of companies having to interrogate their systems with custom queries, software providers could implement the extraction program directly into the existing system. Now let's take a look at the data relationships among tables in Audit Data Standard General Ledger. Here we can see there are 7 tables, with 3 of them are from base standard and 4 of them are tables in GL standard. For example, the first table, GL detail year month day to year month day, shows the data range of this table. And all those 7 tables are linked with each other using this common field. For example, here, this table and the chart of accounts table, they are linked with each other using GL account number and the GL sub-account number. So here are other common fields that you can see. They linked those tables with each other. So in General Ledger Audit Data Standard, following standardized data, as we just mentioned, the 4 tables, they are GL standard data profiling report. For each set of data that is extracted from ERP or the GL, the report provides tests which should be performed by the audit data provider and independently confirmed by the auditor. Validation should be performed for each period for which the data is requested. So you can take a look at the copy of the ADS for General Ledger to take a look at the descriptions about the tests. At last, it also provides a GL questionnaire. This set of questionnaire help auditors to better understand the data they are using. For example, it asks, is there any implicit structure for creating a unique journal ID field? If so, what is the structure? Let's take a deeper look at the tables in GL ADS. Here I use the first table of GL ADS, the GL detail table, as an example. The GL detail table stores all the journal entry lines and includes all the journal entry header information as well. The first column shows the field number of each item. The second one shows the field name, which are already standardized. The third column displays the level of prioritization of each field. For example, number 1 means it is a required field. Level 1 items are required to cover the large part of the risk the auditors are addressing. If the level here is 2, that means the field is only a recommended field. It should be provided whenever if it is available. As I just mentioned before, the items in GL ADS might have either the flat file data format or XBRL GL format. If it's in flat file data format, here provides data type and length. And if it's shown in XBRL GL format, here are the taxonomy elements. The last column provides a description of each item. For example, journal ID is identifier that is unique for each journal entry. Okay, just in case that some of you might not understand what XBRL is, here I provide some basic information. The full name of XBRL is Extensible Business Reporting Language. It's a standardized machine-readable language defined specifically to meet the requirements of business and financial information. The SEC required the public firms to submit their financial statement quarterly and annually in XBRL format. One characteristic of XBRL is the data is assigned with text. For example, if a text is assigned with 100, with the number 100, then you can understand that the meaning of this number is the number of the text. Since XBRL shows how items are related to each other, it can represent how they are calculated and identify whether they fall into particular groupings for organizational or presentational purpose. The information in XBRL format is machine readable, so it can be used by various databases. And organizations can adapt it to meet a variety of special requirements. So that is why it's called extensible. Here I just mentioned that companies are required to file registration statement, periodic report, and other forms electronically through the electronic data gathering, analysis, and retrieval system, so that anyone can access and download this information for free. Form 10-K is an annual report required by SEC that gives a comprehensive summary of a public company performance. Form 10-Q is a quarterly report. XBRL is XML based and use XML syntax and related XML technologies. It's a standard-based way to communicate and exchange business information between business systems. The left-hand side of this slide provides a simple example. Here is a series of information, and some of you may guess its meaning, and some information you cannot understand what is its meaning. But here, if you read from the right hand side, it's very easier for you guys to understand its meaning, because all the meaning can be told from the tag here. For example, this name is the name of a chair because the tag says it's a chair information. And here is the name of the street, and here is the number of the house, and also the zip code and the country, and the telephone number, the area code, the number, the birthday. So everything is very clear and understandable. All those texts are called metadata. Metadata is the information about the information. It provides a description and explanation of information. Here is another example. This information is human readable information, and they are from financial statement, and it records the name of the accounts and the amount of the accounts. However, if this information is recorded in XBRL format, the machine readable format, it reads like this. For example, the first item, assets held sale, like this. It recorded like this. And this identified whether or not the number is recorded in standard US number format. Here mean euros means this format is European country format. In this format, number reads like this. So, from the information here, you can see how differently a machine readable information is from human readable information. In a multinational firm, data is recorded in different languages from different systems in different locations, such as English, Chinese, Spanish, and Japanese. How can the information from different systems be understood? If we can present the data in XBRL format, the problem is very easy to solve. Because for each XBRL, it has its unique label, which can be presented in different languages. For example, here is cash and cash equivalent, and it also can be presented by other languages, like this, and this. XBRL item also provides its references, which provide information about its regulations and standards, like this GAAP. Now let's get back to the ADS. Now we know that the information in ADS can be presented in either pipe delimited text file or XBRL file format. A delimited text file format is one in which each line of text is a record, and the fields are separated by a known character. Common delimiters include the tab character or various punctuation characters. The delimiter should always be one which does not appear in the data. Pipe delimited text file use pipe symbol as the delimiter. Delimited text files are easily produced by most desktop, spreadsheet, and database applications, such as Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access. You can usually choose File, then Save As, or Export, then select the type of file you would like to save as. Pipe delimited text file looks the same as CSV file. CSV file means the comma separated values file, except that the pipe delimited text file is delimited by a pipe symbol, while CSV file is delimited by a comma. So, the flat file, the pipe delimited text file, has the following features. Now let's take a look at the XBRL file. The XBRL has its full name as the XBRL Global Ledger Taxonomy Framework. It is a holistic and generic XML and XBRL-based representation of detailed data. It can be found in accounting operational system, and is meant to be the bridge from transactional standards to reporting standards, integrating the business reporting supply chain. XBRL can be used by XBRL-based software for information interchange of accounting general ledger balance, as well as complete accounting ledgers, such as payables, receivables, inventory, payroll, order entry, purchasing, banking. Supporting object-oriented accounting, quantity accounting, and transparency support. XBRL can support the detail and integrate to all manners of reporting, financial, tax, sustainability, statistics, and otherwise, and carry both quantitative and qualitative information. So compared with the pipe delimited text file, XBRL GL has the following features. Here I will provide an example. After the issuance of AICPA ADS, an AIS accounting firm transferred the ACL text data to satisfy ADS. Rutgers owns the data, so now I will show you how it looks like. You can see here is the example from the GL, General Ledger, Audit Data Standard. Here we got several tables, as we can see in the ADS. The first table is GL detail table, so it shows that it's from the ACL table GL General Entry Daily. This column, this row, shows the ADS level. We have already mentioned that if the level is 1, it means it is a required field. And if the level is 2, it means it's just a recommended field. And this row shows the ADS format field name, journal ID line number. All of these are the same as what in the ADS. And here is the original field name of this data. So please note that all the fixed variables are not shown in this database, so it marked as this. And we can also take a look at, we can see there are a lot of fields here, and the format are already satisfy the requirement of ADS. And we can see here is another table. This is from the ACL table GL General Entry Daily. So we got the same row, the ADS format field name, the ACL format, which is the original format field name, and you can see all these items looks like this. And also you can see the other tables here. This is the source listing, and this is the exchange rate. I have already uploaded this sample data to our eCollege system, so you can feel free to download and take a look at them. Okay, so in this ADS sample we got 65,535 records from this time period for the GL detail table, and we have all of these records. And that, as I just mentioned, the fake variables is not in the ACL text data. Now let's take a look at next step. Right now we already have several ADS, but the working group is still in the process of developing some more subledger standards: inventory, payroll, fixed assets, treasury. Now let's take a look at what do we have and what should we do for the next step. Now we do have this ADS here, but we still need to get best practices from the market and the thought leaders to inform the development of the ADS. And maybe we also need some framework to map traditional and analytical testing techniques to business processes, audit procedures, and assertions. So maybe we need some specific topic white papers and guidance documents to give us some help. And we also need some meaningful apps to help us. For example, this app, the transaction volume evaluates the total number of transactions passing through any given module and compares it against the prior weeks. Date, range, and the SAP module can be customized. So if we have those audit apps together with the specific methodology or framework, it could improve the effectiveness, efficiency of the audit process. That's all. Thank you.